Finally, after such a long time of searching, I managed to hitchhike a sailboat across the Atlantic Ocean. It was day 4 of our 4-week crossing to the white sand beaches of the Caribbean, and we sailed into the perfect sunset when suddenly, out of the blue, something terrible happened. Okay, we just lost our mast. Egypt, 2018. On an adventure on my own, I dive deep into this wonderfully raw country. To see some of the world's top attractions was truly fascinating, but even more interesting to me was to hitchhike throughout the whole country, from the small farm vehicle to the murderously fast motorcycles.
Hey, what's your name?
Jojo.
Jojo!
Yes.
Welcome, Jojo, Master Jojo.
Thank you so much.
Habibi Bob.
And the overloaded trucks. I get to hitchhike everything that moves. And like that, I actually meet the people. All classes and all ethnicities gift me with some human kindness. In these unforgettable moments, I realized that this is for me the most profound and real way to experience other cultures. With hitchhiking, you never know who will pick you up, what will happen, and where will you end up.
Yeah, thank you, ciao.
But that turns every day into surprising adventures. After all, a culture is not represented by its dusty buildings, but by the humans themselves and their hearts. With this journey, I fell in love with hitchhiking as a way of meeting the world, and I developed the idea of going on a big journey only by hitchhiking. I asked myself, what would be the most challenging journey possible? And my answer was immediately going around the whole globe. And a little bit later, I found myself in Turkey, Ankara, starting my attempt to hitchhike around the globe, heading into the direction east. On the first day, somewhere in the city's outskirts, I get surprised by a rainstorm, and I run into the next building I see. Lucky me, turns out this is an outlet store of a huge candy factory. An employee named Sinan offered me some chocolate. A little bit later, the manager also wants to meet me and surprises me with a tea and more Turkish candy. Then he insists that we order some kebab and eat together. I'm completely puzzled by my first day, but it gets even crazier. Sinan, the employee, invites me to sleep at his family's house. We play some FIFA, and on the next day he even drives me a little further east.
Thank you so much for this. So I just got another ride.
Right,
Hey.
Almanya football.
Oh!
Hitchhiking in Turkey seemed to be extremely easy and well known among the population, as I also see some other locals hitchhiking. After many friendly encounters, I meet an elderly man living in a very, very humble house. We have no way of communicating, but he shows me his beautiful pigeons that he seemed to breed.
Hello.
Hello.
So I walked out of Sivas.
Evet, Sivas.
Yeah, and
Ali.
I just met a pigeon farmer. Pigeons.
Evet.
Then he invites me to a delicious Turkish tea and some snacks. we enjoy the peaceful sunset together. As I traveled even further east into the region of Kurdistan, even more surprises should wait for me. After I hitchhiked for over 100 kilometers with some friendly Kurds, they invite me to their home. Suddenly, the barbecue is cooking and delicious salads are made. So now we are actually drinking also some raki. Thank you so much. In Germany we say Prost. We go like this, Prost. And some Turkish beers with alcohol. I can't believe what is happening to me. On the next day, after a breakfast for kings, the Iranian border is in reach and I get to dive into a completely different world. I read online that hitchhiking is impossible and not known at all in Iran. But I try my luck anyways. And who would have thought the first car picks me up? The two men inside speak no English at all, but I can understand that they go to the next big town. Loud Persian music is playing, but suddenly they drive on a small road leading up to the mountains into the wrong direction. I get a little worried. They stop to show me a natural spring and ask me if I want to go outside, but I'm worried that they might take off with my backpack in their car, so I kindly say that I'm fine. Suddenly, they stop in a very secluded place. For no reason at all. They get outside and open the hood of the car. In this moment, I got really scared and I thought that I was about to be robbed. They remove something in the engine bay. And suddenly, they show me proud and with a very big smile on their faces that they just had risked their lives to smuggle 2 bottles of vodka over the border. After that, they bring me safely to my destination and they say that they want to invite me to a party on the next day. I'm a little bit worried that I might get in trouble with the Islamic police, but my curiosity is bigger. I accept the offer, and so I shall have my first party in Iran. We were driving high up into the mountains and hiked even further to make a wonderful barbecue picnic and, of course, to drink the forbidden juice.
We say sağlık, sağ.
Sour.
We say sağ. In Germany, you say
Prost.
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 Yes.
Jojo.
Prost.
But empty.
Yes.
Prost.
Wait.
Thank you. Prost.
More.
And when time I am honor for you in few, yani here. But you honor me. I honor you in.
Far away from Sharia laws and religion. A truly happy and free moment for all of us. Finally have a SIM card and internet, yes. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you too.
Thank you to you, you brought me here. Thank you. And thank you, Amir. Because, I have to have an Iranian passport to get internet and he helped me with that. Thank you. Amir insisted to invite me to a meal, but that was just my first taste of Iranian hospitality. Amir invited me to his home.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hello.
And
we are happy in see you. ملاقات میکنیم شما رو. I'm happy
to meet. Yes. I'm also very happy and this is
his apartment. Very nice with the Persian carpets, like in every Persian home.
Jojo, we invite your mother and father. Ne cidden mi? Invite in Hoy city. Our happy.
I invite-
meet you, your father and mother
Thank
and
you.
mother.
Thank you.
On the next day, Amir and his friends took me to see a natural wonder.
There is actually a river here, and somehow it goes through a little cave system through this landmass here, and then it goes through on the other side and also creates like a rock pool to jump in. You can see how the water is pushing from underneath up, so I think the water is going down and then up again. I've never seen something like this before in a riverbed.
I was in disbelief of what I was experiencing. But a few meters further, there was a volcanic hot spring with a natural bubble bath, creating the perfect natural jacuzzi.
This is my brother, yes. Picture? Yeah. So I just met this nice gentleman next to the hot spring, and he invited us on some tea. Thank you. Thank you.
Buradan mı ye?
Yes.
Yar hey bade eşk cünun mer yazdo safaye dost bad az Maryasdo.
Wow. This container behind me is his home. Kamal's home. We can, I think, truly learn from people like him. Look how happy and open and friendly he is. Amazing people here. So those are the people I'm riding with. Hello. Wow. So now I got invited on a wedding. Thank you so much. We came like in the last 10 minutes of the wedding, but still it was great. I mean, wow, how lucky I am. So I got actually invited into their home.
Ha.
Thank you so much.
Ha.
So now the whole family came together here. Really nice family. Thank you for inviting me. So now I'm chilling in the kitchen and I just helped to peel some potatoes. and and now I got a soup and she made it into yo, and yo-yo didn't fit, but yo, it's yo-yo. Thank you for the yo and thank you for the soup. Yes, dancing. Now I sleep here at Ali's house. They gave me water with ice to sleep and this wonderful bed here. This kind of level of hospitality just blows my mind. Trying to process all of these crazy things that are happening to me. Bye bye. Thank you guys. I love you.
I have to say, I've never seen anywhere else in the world drivers driving so reckless, fast and dangerously than in Iran. A little bit later, yet another driver insists on inviting me to a meal in a beautiful roadside garden restaurant. And suddenly he pulls out a bottle of vodka. And so we enjoy an absolute feast.
Salamatin, Iran.
Followed by smoking a huge water pipe. It seems as if there are more people than we would think, silently rebelling against the religious state and its prohibition of alcohol.
Yes, melon. Thank you, Ali.
In Iran, I was also able to get many rides on trucks, which is always a very special hitchhiking experience. With one truck, I even traveled for 2 days, sleeping in the second bunk bed in the top of the cabin.
Wow, I can't believe I actually slept in a truck in Iran. This was crazy, and yeah, it was a pretty good night. I have to say, it was so chill, and now we're gonna go on.
Truly a crazy adventure, in which I always have to think, should I trust that person? And then I try to ultimately rely on my gut feeling. But does it not require even more trust towards me, from the people who share their homes with me?
So now we are chilling here, having breakfast. We just cooked it on the side of the truck. It's like a kitchen here. Spasiba большое.
Sometimes I think that we can only ever become a united and peaceful species by nurturing our generosity and love, but most importantly, our human trust for each other. Iran, the country of limitless hospitality and kindness. During my journey crossing the whole country, I was welcomed every single day by countless loving humans, like they just got back their long-lost son. At the same time, Iran is struggling with hyperinflation and severe economic problems due to the decade-long sanctions against the nation. Iran could be one of the wealthiest countries in the world with their reserve of natural resources, but I see a lot of poverty and people are having it not easy. After all, it is mainly the human population who suffers from these economic sanctions, not the ones on top. But it is truly wonderful and surprising to see that people who would have every right to be miserable in their unfree and isolated nation, that these people actually have developed a different kind of wealth, right in the middle of their big and open hearts. As soon as I entered Pakistan, a policeman escorts me to their dusty station. Everywhere, men with AK-47s, but I'm welcomed very warmly.
Thank you. Food.
I have the feeling that everybody eats here and sleeps here. I am in their living room and weapons are just casually laying around me.
Chicken and tomatoes, onion, everything.
For my safety, I have to stay in the fortified building of the so-called levies, a local paramilitary law enforcement. On the next day, me and some heavily armed men rush into a pickup truck to join a big convoy of buses full of pilgrims, which get escorted by many military vehicles. I am in Baluchistan, a region between Iran, Afghanistan and the rest of Pakistan, an area plagued by bomb blasts, shootings, abductions, militant separatists and terrorist activities. To get further east, I have to traverse a wild 600-kilometer long road close to the Afghan border. Every 30 kilometers or so, we change the vehicle and a new group of levies escort me, many times with obligatory tea time and selfies. I even get invited to lunch by these kind and brave men. But I can see sadness in their eyes. Many of them must have experienced the heartbreaking terror in this region. A feeling of shame comes up in me after I see how many people and resources are used for my safety. What for me feels like a great adventure is the bitter reality of all these people here. This desert is truly a harsh place for everything that tries to flourish here. But I see some children with bright and shining eyes.
Hello.
As darkness came, things got more intense and everyone more nervous. The whole convoy gets stuck in a mountain pass. Local people behind us push very aggressively, trying to overtake. It is one big mess, and I'm praying that this is not an ambush.
I made it to Quetta. Now it's 1 o'clock.
Hello.
That means I have been on the road for 17 hours. I'm so exhausted, like never before in my life. And now I'm in the police station with really police headquarters with really kind people. Thank you. And look at this. They treated me to some delicious food. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You are
That's
my
very
guest
kind.
friend. You're most welcome for Quetta, for your visit. I will respect you, I welcome you.
Thank you. So I just found out that this right here, we eat it with bread, and I just tried it without asking what it is, and it's really delicious. It's kind of spicy and has a nice flavor. And this is actually a goat's brain. Hello! Very nice! Yes! Wow! Very good! Quetta is a beautifully strange, but also very poor and dangerous town. I need a permit to travel to the other states of Pakistan, but the week-long national holiday of Eid makes it impossible. I'm locked into my hotel room and I'm not allowed to leave without police protection. After 7 days of waiting, I can finally try it. And I get a shockingly large escort of about 10 heavily armed counter-terrorist fighters on motorcycles. Now I'm in the home office. Yes, NOC finally. And they just invited me on some cake. Very nice. Hitchhiking in Pakistan definitely did not get any less adventurous. One time, in a rural area, a whole circle of people formed around me, hindering me from hitchhiking. I got a little bit overwhelmed and scared, until one kind soul saw my desperation and got me out of the situation on his motorcycle. A few kilometers further, he saw police and dropped me there. The police officers were extremely kind and treated me with a milk tea. I think they understood that I was hitchhiking, and so they actually stopped a huge car carrier truck. And after they figured that the people inside are decent, they told them to take me with them. And again, I had the privilege to experience trucker culture in another country. And Pakistan has definitely the most beautiful ones. Every bit of space, inside and outside, is decorated and painted in great detail. The truck was extremely slow and had to drive through the whole night to complete only 300 kilometers. Wow, we arrived in Multan. I slept for the last 3 hours here in the back. Good morning! Yes, Multan, very good. Thank you. When I reached the extremely chaotic city of Lahore, I had to walk a long way to the center. But suddenly, a man on a motorcycle asked if I needed help and if he can give me a ride.
Then he insists on inviting me to meet his family and for a meal. Wow, so now I got invited on this amazing smelling and looking dinner. Thank you so much. Thank you. In Lahore, you can not only find fiery, spicy food, but also haircuts.
I have a fucking bonfire on my head. Holy shit! It's getting really hot.
Is it getting hot?
Yes.
You want it more?
I had the opportunity to take the risk of getting bold, to have the unique experience of a fire haircut. But apart from all the dusty and loud cities, Pakistan holds a very different kind of experience in the north of the country. Suddenly, it gets more mountainous, cooler, and trees are growing everywhere. Strange looking plants are growing on the side of the road. To have more fresh air, nature, and less people around was a very pleasant change.
Thank you, bye bye.
And less people did not mean less hospitality. Every day I get to experience human kindness and the loving, welcoming atmosphere towards me. Life is very raw and simple. I find it fascinating. But this is just the beginning. These already high mountains are only the foothills of what is about to come. In Pakistan, the world's 3 highest mountain ranges, the Karakoram, Hindu Kush and Himalaya, are meeting.
Morning motorcycle ride, thank you.
In the countless steep valleys, you are surrounded by some of the world's highest mountains, and the mighty glaciers of the 7,000 meter high peaks are to be found around every corner. This is the Rakaposhi. Rakaposhi means shiny wall in the local language. With a height difference of almost 6,000 meters to the bottom of the Hunza Valley, it has the world's steepest flank and is made out of icy walls up until the summit. One morning, I tried to hike up to one of its glaciers, but it turned out to be a lot more difficult than I thought. With all my strength, I managed to reach the glacier and touch it.
The glacier is insane. I mean, from down there it looks kind of not the biggest glacier ever, but if you're standing here right under it, it's so big, and those towers of ice, I bet they are from the ground like 30 to 50 meter high or something. It's crazy.
A very eerie feeling to crawl around like an ant right under this monster. Further up the valley, a catastrophically big landslide blocked the whole valley, and the river created a vast lake, sadly swallowing a few villages. On the bright side, it created a mystical lake with a color that is out of this world, and a true reminder that Mother Nature will always be stronger than us. Even further up the valley, you can find adventurous suspension bridges and wonderfully untouched villages full of the most friendly and open people.
What's your name?
Gulshat Begum.
Gulshat Begum?
Yeah.
And she's going to cut some grass
Yeah.
to feed her cows and sheeps.
Yeah.
Yes. And she's joining us and walking with us a little while, which is lovely. Thank you.
Thank you.
This village was the only true and untouched paradise I have ever found on earth. I could not believe that such a raw and beautiful place still exists. Time seems to have stopped here in the perfect moment. Everyone I meet lives extremely simple, seems happy, deeply calm in their being, and delighted to see a traveler.
Wow.
There are no hotels, no shops, just plenty of natural purity.
Speechless. Nice to meet you, Nabocha.
Thank you very much.
And he and his family are currently pulling out all the potatoes out of the ground.
I even got invited to visit the tiny local school.
I got picked up by one of these beautiful trucks and I met Ashir. Ashir? Ashir. And thank you so much, he's taking me to Soest. Shukriya. Wow, that's so cool.
But then it was time to cross the Kunjarab Pass to make the highest border crossing in the world on 4,693 meters over sea level into China. And I cannot believe how lucky I was to witness the spectacle of Chinese and Pakistani soldiers dancing together at the border. Now I am in China. I am entering a different universe. Suddenly, the first big cities pop up. Everything straight and well planned. No chaos. Cameras and flags everywhere. Electric scooters, police. I cannot read anything. No one speaks English. Strange foods, new sounds, new smells, new faces. I feel like an alien. Since I only have a 30-day visa, and because I have to make a detour around Tibet, I have to hitchhike at least 200 kilometers a day to make the 6,000 kilometers journey to Laos in time. This is a giant hitchhiking marathon challenge, and everyone told me that it will be impossible to hitchhike through China, and that the Chinese will be unfriendly. Sounds like an adventure. Indeed, hitchhiking feels very strange at first, but sooner or later I somehow always get a ride. The Chinese are at first a bit distant and shy, but then suddenly become extremely friendly and hospitable. On my marathon I met countless kind humans, many of them sharing snacks in the car.
The grandma and the grandchild. And with these people, ni hao.
And some of them inviting me on great meals in a restaurant.
Yes, I got it right.
Hello.
Hello, ni hao.
你好，你好。
Your name?
啊？我听不懂。
Communication is difficult to impossible, but a soul always understands a shared smile.
So now I got picked up by X.
Yeah, yeah.
That's his English name. And what's your Chinese name?
Sure,
Sure.
yeah.
And yeah, he has a really nice BMW.
Yeah.
And we're absolutely racing down here the highway. And yeah, thank you so much for picking up.
Okay.
We're having some nice conversations and
Welcome, lad, to China. Yeah.
thank you. You won't believe what just happened. He was crazy rich. Like his family owns hundreds of malls in China. Now he just paid for my hotel because I told him I'm looking for a cheap hotel and he said no. I can't believe the things that are happening to me. Deciding to only hitchhike has turned my life into something crazy, into a crazy ride of wow.
Suddenly I find myself in pure hitchhiking glamour.
I got it right. Shishi, thank you so much. Wow, now they invited us to try some mango. It's so amazingly beautiful around here. I mean, just look at these terraces here full of tomatoes and then these mountains all over this place. Wow, and the green, the tone of the green here is so beautiful. They just gave me this green tomato. And I don't know if they are pranking me or not, but they are also trying the green tomato. So I think it's ripe and it has a green color. Oh my god, it tastes exactly like a normal tomato. Yellow, brownish.
哎，我们走，都是明天都走了，就他们留了几个。
乡村的啊。
Oh my god. Chinese barbecue. How convenient is it to have the grill right in the middle of the table? Cheers.
干一个还是怎么样？
Cheers. Happy. So you take a piece of meat,
Yeah.
put it in like marinade and chili. You put it in a salad leaf.
Okay.
You put some garlic on top, like a huge piece.
Okay.
Fold it, and then you eat it. It's incredible. So those are fried baby bees, I guess.
Okay.
Very good. Wow, it's really good. Wow. Wow.
Try it again.
Wow, it tastes like chips. Like potato chips.
Potato chips.
Yeah.
像薯条。
We are feasting here right now, a barbecue. While over there's a goat being slaughtered. Oh God. What a crazy day. This really feels like a dream. I don't know what's happening.
And after only 18 days, I reach tropical southern China, completing my hitchhiking marathon with more beautiful surprises of the Chinese people than I could have ever imagined. All my worries about the Chinese turned out to be wrong, and instead they bombarded me with their pure human warmth and hospitality.
Bye bye, 谢谢.
I crossed the border to Laos, and once again into a different world. Suddenly, instead of big cities, small villages. Instead of perfect highways, small and bumpy roads. It is one of the least developed countries I have ever visited. I notice lots of poverty in the villages, and a very natural way of life with people washing in rivers.
Oh yeah! Once again, pickup, I love it. Oh my God. There's nothing better in the world than riding on a pickup.
Soon I learned that in Laos, about every second car on the street is a pickup truck, which is the holy grail of hitchhiking. Trust me, there are only a few things in life more thrilling than to sit on the back of a pickup, to feel the wind in your hair, to smell the smells, and to fly through the magical landscapes. In my experience, you can have the most authentic cultural experiences far away from the tourist destinations, in the small villages. You will always get surprised, somehow.
They just gave me a beer, and they also gave me a half beer before, and I should hurry down.
Okay, you, okay.
I don't know what's going on. They just keep giving me beer.
Okay.
Next to this tiny hotel, they were building a new house, and I got to know the workers there. They are slaughtering a goat and drinking alcohol out of a goat's horn. It's pretty crazy. They just gave me some to try. It's like a blood salad of the goat with meat inside and green stuff. Wow. Oh my god. That's crazy. They are just snacking it like that. I've never seen that before. It's amazing. Okay. Now they persuaded me to try the blood
meat and coriander thing. Whoa.
Good.
That's good. They are all eating it, so I trust them that it won't kill me. So cheers. Good.
Hey!
Yeah. What? I just ate goat's blood. And it tastes really good. Wow. And it's spicy, they also put chili in there. Wow. Incredible.
ยามเหงาเราถอนใจเมื่อมองดูสายน้ำวนบินไปไม่กลับ
I made it to Thailand. On my first day, I catch a pickup truck that wants to go all the way to Bangkok, which would mean about 6 hours of enjoying the landscape and the sunset, and one of the most fantastic days of my life. After some hours, it got dark, and suddenly the pickup truck drives into a small and dark dirt road, definitely not leading to Bangkok. I get extremely scared, and I'm sure that these 5 men in the cab are about to rob me. Adrenaline is pumping, and I cling to my small pepper spray, panicking if I should try to resist or not. The car stops at a house. Instead of a gun, a smile points at me. It turns out a few people had to be dropped off on the way to Bangkok. A stone falls from my heart, and it gets even better. We stay for a warm welcome and some food.
So suddenly there's some whiskey and some Coke on the table. Okay, it's Pepsi, but yeah, they gave me some whiskey and what? How crazy is that? So now there's suddenly a fish soup on the table, like, what? That looks amazing, oh my god.
Hey, do this. Yes. Okay, good.
Thailand's warm and so unbelievably smiley people, the delicious street food at every corner, and the natural wonders of the kingdom made my journey feel like a hitchhiking holiday. One place that I found fascinating is a market right on a train track. First, you almost don't notice the tracks, and then suddenly all the vendors rush around and put their goods to the side for the train to pass. Every stand and the whole crowd only by centimeters.
Alright, that's really tight. Oh my god. The train just left. 2 seconds after they start to pack out all their things again.
Hey! Young coconut 20 baht. Very cool, very cheap, very sweet. Yo!
Some areas of Thailand are definitely way too crowded and way too touristy for my taste. But if you avoid the tourist hotspots and you go the extra mile, you can find paradise all for yourself. After my great time in Thailand, the neighboring paradise of Malaysia was waiting for me. It is always exciting to cross a border and to try to hitchhike in a completely new country that you have never been in before. On my way to the street food heaven of Penang, I hitchhiked together with 2 travelers that I met, a completely packed car.
Hello. This is Alice, right?
Yeah, Alice Wong. Hello.
Steven, right?
Yeah.
what are your names?
Christina. Daddy's.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's okay.
And they will actually take us with their car on the ferry. Really cool, thank you.
You're welcome.
And with that, I could actually hitchhike a boat for the first time. The island of Penang is a crazy mixture of old and new, good smells and bad smells, and the ethnicities of Chinese, Indian and Malay living closely together, all offering their great food. But the big cities did not interest me for very long. For me, the best way to get to know a country is to go on an hitchhiking adventure into the rural areas. Usually people are very open and I never have to wait for long.
They showed me the best Indian food in this town, right?
Yeah, in this town.
Yeah, and look at this. It looks amazing. This curry smells amazing. We arrived at your home, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for inviting me. That's incredible.
They not only invited me to food and to their home, but also to the farm of their parents. After a fun ride on a pickup, I could discover how 2 exotic fruits that I never had heard of before are growing. This is the durian, the so-called king of the fruits, a horribly stinky but heavenly delicious fruit for those who like them. Later I should have the opportunity to try this very expensive delicacy.
I'm harvesting, eating, trying a fruit I never tried before in my life at the same day. Amazing.
But first I get to try the so-called queen of the fruits, the mangosteen.
Oh my god, it's like a, oh my god, the flavor is so good. It's unbelievable. Sour, sweet, so much flavor.
On the next day, many of their friends join us for a pickup ride to make a barbecue. We arrive at a beautiful and cool place next to some waterfalls and enjoy some good food together.
These guys are treating me to a durian. This is how it looks like when it's in the fruit, and this is like the fruit you eat, this part, and this is like a very soft fruit, and it has a very special smell to it. Some people say it stinks like shit, some people think it smells really good. So now, like, this is my first time trying it, so let's see how I perceive this fruit. Thank you guys, that's really amazing. Now just eat it? Yeah, just eat it.
So what's the taste?
It's good. But it's weird, like kind of weird.
Like custard?
I love it. So creamy. It almost reminds me of molten cheese. That like the texture is like molten cheese. They're good.
Good?
I don't know how you can call this shit. Because
This is like good.
yeah, I think it's very good.
Very good. Some people can't.
I feel so blessed. But my luck with experiencing the agriculture of Malaysia should not end here. Just one day later, I hitchhike a car and I get offered to see a maracuja farm.
I got picked up by Ken and Casey, right?
Okay.
And they just brought me to their passion fruit farm.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome.
That's so interesting.
Yes.
It definitely tastes the best if you pick it yourself and eat it right away.
Oh my my god.
After many more hitchhiking adventures and many more friendly encounters, I meet Zoe. She invited me to join her and her friends for a hike to a hidden beach and to collect some plastic.
We found a bottle from China. This bottle is made from China.
Made in China.
It traveled all the way to Malaysia from China.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's insane.
I found like Korean mineral bottles too, you know.
The beach itself was beautiful. But the amount of plastic from all around the world that got washed up here was just heartbreaking. Now I'm facing a big challenge. I'm not able to hitchhike any further east on land, so I need to hitchhike a boat, somehow. My idea was it to either try to work on a cargo ship, cruise ship, or to try to hitchhike a private sailing vessel in order to cross the Pacific Ocean. It turned out that nowadays it is very unlikely to find a one-way trip with no experience on a cargo ship because of strict regulations. The cruise ships are only very rarely crossing the oceans, and the sailboats seem to be the most promising and also most interesting option. For this whole journey, I basically did no planning at all. I just jumped into the adventure with the trust in my thumb leading me east. But now I'm facing a big problem. The more research that I'm doing, the clearer it gets. Basically, all of the sailboats are sailing across the Pacific with the trade winds going west. For me, the wrong direction. After 1 month of searching, I did not find a single sailboat crossing the Pacific to the east. It seems hopeless to get further east only by hitchhiking. So I make the decision to change my direction, to try to go with the flow. This time I want to travel around the globe, heading west only by hitchhiking and starting from my hometown of Tübingen in Germany. It is a very exciting but also very daunting feeling to just walk away from your home for a completely uncertain adventure and for a completely unknown period of time. I actually never hitchhiked in my own country before, and I expected the Germans not to be very friendly and open, that I would have to wait for hours, and no way that I would experience any kind of hospitality. And oh, was I wrong. It is actually very easy to hitchhike in Germany, and I was able to experience a lot of human kindness, and for the first time I could really discover my own backyard, where the grass turned out to be just as green as on the other side of the fence. I was always drawn to faraway lands and cultures, not noticing the beauty that my birthplace has to offer. Only after experiencing my own people and the amazing nature of my country through hitchhiking, I could fully fall in love with my home. The magic of hitchhiking, it will always surprise you. To have better chances later, when I want to hitchhike a sailboat over the Atlantic, I should learn how to sail. And over the internet I found an interesting sailing project in the north of Denmark. So I pack my bag and I start a hitchhiking marathon from the south of Germany. On my unbelievable first day, a Mercedes AMG picks me up and even drives me a little further to a better spot. After minutes, a BMW picks me up and we race on the Autobahn, a swindling 260 kilometers an hour. Hitchhiking, Germany style. After only 48 hours, I arrive to my new floating home. The vessel Labora is a wooden fishing boat from 1937, converted into a yacht. Very beautiful from the outside, but with endless problems on the inside. Captain Dave already spent close to 1 year restoring it. A couple of months before I came, he ran completely out of money. But this did not make him quit. Dave put every dime to his name and his whole heart into the project. And all of us on the boat can feel his pure passion. He's giving and teaching what he can. And the whole crew, all more or less hippies, are helping with their work, music or a little bit of money, as good as they can. Since we have no funding at all, we started to go dumpster diving. It was really shocking to see what perfectly fine food ends up in the bin here. Fresh pastries, bread, smoked salmon, meat, 2 kilogram sacks of onions with just one bad one inside, milk, crackers, chocolate, literally any type of food. Just 1 day past the validity date. Each day we fish out new goodies. We take just a small portion of the food that gets dumped here, and we can still feed the close to 10 hungry sailors on board. Something is surely going wrong with the world. The first 2 months we just spent in port, repairing all the remaining essential things. It was a wonderful time of learning and living together with very inspiring alternative people from all around the world. Then it was finally time to leave the calm fjord in which we tested the old-timer of a sailboat until now, and head out to sea. The traditionally rigged vessel with her 6 sails is not only extremely slow, but also extremely exhausting and complicated to sail. Additionally, you get tired out from the movement of the sea, and every single time that we sailed further west towards our goal of the Atlantic Ocean, we had multiple equipment failures and breakdowns. Everything from our huge anchor almost punching a hole in the hull, over bilge pumps constantly failing in the leaky wooden ship, to very scary rigging failures. Somehow we made it with an unregistered, more or less pirate ship, some people with overstayed visas, and a half-broken steering down to Germany, without crashing a cargo ship through the Kiel Channel to the North Sea. In the North Sea, we had multiple very scary and severe breakdowns, where basically the high seas caused debris in the diesel tanks to clog all our diesel filters, killing the engine, and with very bad winds threatening us to crash into the English coast. After also the attempt to emergency anchor fails, we have to call the Coast Guard to save us. Luckily, they are fast, and were able to tow Labora to a harbor.
Don't fall in the water.
After 5 months of some of the happiest moments of my life with this amazing community of people, but also some of the scariest moments of my life, it is time to go back to good old car hitchhiking. It feels so great to be back on the road, completely free. Just me, my thumb and my backpack. I want to make it to Portugal to try to hitchhike a sailboat from there across the Atlantic Ocean. I go wild camping on the top of the white cliffs of Dover, which is wonderful, but I'm stuck on the English island. Somehow I need to hitchhike over to the mainland. On the next day I try to hitchhike cars that drive on the Channel ferries, and I score a great seat on a Lithuanian truck. Officially, I am the second truck driver, and that status even gives me access to the exclusive truckers lounge and 1 plate of free food. Then, finally, I can smell French baguettes, and I feel so incredibly relieved to have made it to the mainland of Europe. Hitchhiking in France is always a pleasure. And a kind French family spontaneously invites me for lunch. I enjoy wild camping a lot, and I get to visit an organic farm where I can experience how they make absolutely delicious cheese. In Spain, I get sick. I have a travel burnout, a strange state of experiencing way too much and not having enough time to process all of it, mixed with loneliness and homesickness. I stay for 2 weeks at the same hostel in a small fishing village to have time and peace to cure myself. From the village I can see the wonderful Picos de Europa, and soon they tempt me to go hiking. I reach a hut on 2,000 meters with a bit of snow around, and I'm completely amazed that I can still see the ocean from here. When I reached Portugal, I had the crazy idea to just try to hitchhike a private jet. Nothing is impossible, right? 3 days I waited in front of the VIP entrance of Porto Airport. Amused many pilots who walked by, but sadly did not hitchhike the ultimate hitchhiking trophy, at least for now. It is time to hitchhike a sailboat, and just after 2 days I'm sailing on a tiny 9-meter aluminium vessel of a kind French woman on the way to the Canary Islands. Alright, so this is going to be the attempt of the double flip. Whoa! This pancake is going to taste twice as good. After 1 month of smooth sailing, I arrive on Gran Canaria. But I have to hitchhike a new boat to get further. I meet some Norwegians and they offer me a place on their boat to cross the Atlantic. The skippers are Astrid and Idun, a unique and kind married lesbian couple. With Simon and My, our pirate dog, we are a happy young crew on the 10-meter vessel. We go for a huge provisioning run to get water and food for the 4 weeks at sea. We sail away, heading to the dream destination Martinique, and get into the beautiful sailing rhythm of sleeping, steering, cooking and eating. Wonderful sailing so far. Really happy to be on this boat with this crew. It's just amazing. Couldn't be better. And then the destination Martinique. Oh my god, I'm so excited. On the 4th day, we sailed into the perfect sunset. Okay, we just lost our mast. It's just broke in half. What the fuck? Gonna check if we have some water intake. A mast breaking at sea can hurt and kill people while it collapses, and even damage the hull of our fiberglass boat to the point where we could be in danger of sinking. Yes. All of us are fine, but we don't know about the boat. The mast is hanging next to the vessel, and with each wave it bangs into the hull. That ensures our survival. With a metal saw we need to cut the remaining stays to let it sink away. When the mast finally sank, we could breathe for the first time. We only have the engine to navigate. And again, we have a lot of luck. We are about 4 days away from the Canary Islands and we have about 5 days worth of diesel. On the exhausting washing machine ride back, we sometimes shed some tears. Other times, we can laugh again. It definitely never felt as good as this time to have solid soil under our feet. No one is hurt, no one is dead, only a broken boat, which is really sad. And for a second, I asked myself if I ever want to sail again. But then I remembered all the magical moments that you can only experience at sea. And I tried to hitchhike a new boat to anywhere over the pond. It was not easy, but after 1 month of searching, I got an opportunity on the legendary expedition sailboat of a Polish captain. He wants to cross the Atlantic to Canada. And of course I said yes. Now I'm on one of the few sailboats that ever completed a northeast and northwest passage. And I can even watch their movie on board. Followed by taking a hot shower. On our way to Canada, we stopped on the Azores. A pure adventure playground for the passionate hitchhiker and wild camper.
I'm completely blown away by the human experience that I have on this blue planet. How is all of this possible? Like, it's time to build up the tent over there and sleep.
But just after we arrived, humanity fell into a dark hole of panic and fear after the coronavirus outbreak had been declared a pandemic. With Canada closing its borders and my captain deciding to stop the whole trip and to sail back to his home port in Poland, I suddenly became a stranded hitchhiking sailor, alone and trapped on a heavenly blue and green volcanic island with plenty of hot springs in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Could be worse, right? But it rains a lot. I am drifting around, and every accommodation in which I seek shelter is shutting down. Until I meet a wonderful soul named Margarida. She runs the probably world's smallest hostel with only 6 beds. And she kept her heart and door open to take in some stranded travelers. Thank you so much for this incredible meal.
Thank you.
And it's actually also the birthday of Maria, which is living in the same house here.
Thank you.
And we're just some lost souls in this corona crisis sitting together like a family and eating. It's very nice. Thank you. Thank all of you.
Thank you.
In a mad time where hordes of selfish apes were hoarding toilet paper, she did not let fear take away her love and compassion, and shared wine, Portuguese food and laughter, and even precious toilet paper with strangers that she just met. She was like an angel of hope and generosity, one that I will never forget.
That's for you to drink too.
When we were lucky enough to be able to go outside again and to explore some more of the island's natural wonders, I discovered the most magical place I could ever imagine.
It's warm!
Really?
It's warm!
Really?
Yes!
What?
Oh my god, warm ocean! It's unbelievable! Look at this! Oh, praise the Lord!
The whole place falls down.
A natural volcanic hot spring heating up the cold ocean around it. There's something so strangely beautiful in swimming together with fish in a perfectly hot ocean hot tub. And at night, it becomes an unbelievable spiritual and psychedelic experience when you are floating on your back, gazing up into the Milky Way, getting blessed with shooting stars, and feeling like you are an astronaut peacefully floating through space. After being stranded for 5 months, my soul was longing for new horizons, and I am attempting to hitchhike a sailboat back to Europe to have better chances of finding a vessel to cross the Atlantic to the American continent. But it was tough to find a boat because almost no one was daring to sail through the pandemic. Not a single opportunity after weeks of searching. But I got lucky in another way. I met a wonderful soul named Erica, and our Guinness World Record long first date consisted of 7 days of wild camping, eating berries, and most importantly, hitchhiking for the hitchhiker holy grail, the good old pickup trucks.
I wanna shout out to the world so they know my sweet baby loves me so. She got me going, yeah, she turns me on. And she loves me, yeah, she loves me. And it blows my mind. Yeah, it blows my mind. She's my lover.
Day 305, we're still on the same place. Ow! He doesn't know how to be a human anymore. I take care of his fleas.
Can I hitchhike like this?
Ah! Is this a video?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
You know that you found heaven when you are scared to go to sleep because you think you might just wake up and everything was a dream. And the very strange movie-like story of how we met does not help my case. As I am hitchhiking sailboats, I always give all the people that I meet a paper with my sailing experience and contact information. One of these sailors with my paper happened to meet Erica in a different place and told her about my story. Then I got a message from an unknown number, and shortly after she was crazy and brave enough to dive into the unknown and to just book a flight to see me. This taught me again that the smallest things and all the times when we seem to fail at something and start to feel stuck, all these moments can be the cause for something unexpected, something that life is about. Sadly, Erica had to return to her home in Lisbon. But my luck did not perish yet. Just days after, I managed to hitchhike a sailboat to Brest in France. A very caring and fully nomadic French-Canadian family welcomed me on their 20-meter super yacht. Normally, they do expeditions to Antarctica or Greenland, and I found it very fascinating to see how they raise their 2 small children on board. The food that we cooked was absolutely out of this world. And for the first time ever, I even had my own cabin on a sailboat. When we reached France after 9 days at sea, my plan was to hitchhike down the coast to Lisbon to to see Erica again and to look for sailboats to cross the Atlantic from there. I had spent the last 10 months away from everything, on sailboats and islands, and I was worried that the fear of the pandemic on the mainland may have destroyed hitchhiking once and forever. But oh boy, I was up for a surprise. I crossed the whole of France in a single day. I made it through Spain in 3 days, while being invited to a great meal and to sleep in a stranger's house, and completed the 2,000 kilometers to Lisbon in only 5 days. Dropping my heart into an ocean of honey and butterflies once again. And I had the priceless privilege of meeting Erica's epic grandmother.
Come on, move along. I said, baby, I know you're on a roll. Sweet honey, let's take it real soon. You know we got what you need, baby, so take it, move along. I said we got what you need, honey, come and groove along. Come on. Rolling on the highway, ease up.
And it got even better. Erica could show me all the beautiful beaches surrounding us.
Said, babe, I said, babe, oh honey, come and groove along. You gotta feel it, yeah, you gotta move along. You gotta feel it, feel it, feel it, feel, you gotta feel it, feel it, feel it, feel, you gotta feel it. On the roadway, you gotta move along.
Looking for a sailboat turned out to be difficult, and as the winter of 2020 brought the hard restrictions and lockdowns back, I turned to the internet to find a sailboat. Eventually, I found a promising opportunity to join a sailboat heading halfway around the world to Australia. It sounded just perfect, sailing away from all the world's circus about the virus, visiting a couple of tropical paradises on the way, and hoping that when we would arrive in 6 months or so, the pandemic would be over. But no animal escapes the cages of the circus that easily. The arrival of the sailboat kept being delayed by either storms or lockdowns. was beautiful to feel that during the 4 months of waiting in confinement, the love between us got even stronger. The physical and psychological consequences of being locked in started to slowly creep onto my being. I was always an individual who was in need for more freedom and fresh air than the average human seemed to need. Even the world before the pandemic was not free enough for my spirit. To break out of the treadmill of our sick society, finding an alternative and sustainable way of living, and most importantly, to find a pure and healthy form of freedom. All those were motivations for me to go on this journey. But now I'm confronted with the opposite. The most basic freedoms are robbed with the blink of an eye. Constitutions made to protect against totalitarianism are crumbling, and once again humanity is in great fear, gets divided and forgets its brotherhood. Forms of totalitarianism and fascism mostly crept to power in similar forms, spreading great fear and preaching about the common good of the people, leading to a mass psychosis of the population, to then abuse the great power that carry all the followers and all the obeyers, to commit atrocities to their own peoples or others. Each attempt of power to take away our birthright of freedom comes in new, disguised shapes and forms, and we can never see the Trojan horse before it arrived, or where a new situation might lead us. We can only try not to make the same terrible mistake like my German grandfathers, to blindly obey. After all, a healthy form of skepticism and civil disobedience will be the best guardian for our free future. And to not put shame on all the ones who lost their lives for the achievement of liberty, we should be brave enough to speak up if we feel that our freedom could be endangered. Better too early or one time too much before it's too late once again. By standing for my natural human right of freedom of expression, movement and bodily integrity without conditions and unalienable, I also protect your freedom. What do you stand for? Finally, all the uncertainty of waiting was overcome. The sailboat arrived in Lisbon, and we walked full of excitement to the harbor, feeling like starting a new life. But yet another plot twist was waiting for us. The boat was a complete mess, and definitely not in a shape to be sailed around the world anytime soon.
Because the bet comes up.
The roller coaster of emotions was breaking records, and as we were walking away from our long-anticipated ticket to the freedom of the sea, yet another surprise shaped my path. A few minutes later, an elderly man on the street started a conversation with us, and after we told him our whole story, he offered us an empty holiday apartment to stay. One thing is for sure, humanity will never fail to surprise us. Now, for the third time, the universe stopped me from hitchhiking across the Atlantic with yet another rare scenario. All of this triggered something inside of me, and I came to the big realization that it is myself who is responsible for the most part of not feeling free at the moment. I could see clearly now towards what I have been completely blind before. My own travel rules of not using any means of transportation except hitchhiking were making me feel restrained and unfree in a world that had changed a lot since I started this quest. I have to adjust to return to my flow. So many times we can find our golden ticket to personal liberation not outside or somewhere far away, but right in front of us, inside of us. With this profound revelation, I understood that it's not necessary to hitchhike literally around the globe to find freedom, love, purpose, truth, and everything else that is dear to us. After all, it is not the destination that matters, but the path. And oh humanity, you gave me an unforgettable ride. I also could grasp the privilege that I had been born with, and that I always took my basic freedoms for granted, forgetting to strengthen my inner freedom. And now, while I strengthen my vital inner freedom, I will make sure to also never ever again neglect to strengthen my outer freedoms. For the sake of restoring balance, for the sake of going with the flow. This wouldn't have ever been possible without humanity, without you, without everybody, without all the people who gave me a ride, even if it was just for 1 minute with a motorcycle, all the kind people which gave me hospitality, love, which I still can't believe how lucky I was all this time, how many genuinely good souls, kind people, generous people I met on this journey. It brought the world closer together for me, and it made me fall in love with humanity. Thank you. I have no other words for it than thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I love you. And while I run naked into my freedom, I just have one more thing to say. The humanity that I saw on this journey is just unbelievably wonderful. You greeted me with your most human smiles. Hospitality, generosity, patience, tolerance, laughter, peacefulness, stories, forgiveness, music, food, languages, religions, traditions, cultures, and most importantly, your never-ending love. We can all be very proud to be a part of such an amazingly diverse and loving human family on this planet. And I wish all of us to flourish with the most loving and peaceful spirit that humanity has ever seen.